I always thought I had it all figured out. Color-coded itineraries, minute-by-minute schedules, backup plans for my backup plans. My name is Alex, and I'm what you might call a professional planner, or at least I used to be. This trip was going to be perfect. I had spent months planning every detail, right down to the exact time I'd be taking photos at each landmark. I had a special bag just for my itineraries. Each day, color-coded and laminated. Yes, laminated, don't judge me. But then, as if the universe was laughing at me, everything started to fall apart. It began at the airport. My flight was delayed, then cancelled. I spent hours recalculating my entire trip. When I finally arrived at my destination, jet-lagged and irritable, I discovered my perfectly timed train was delayed, throwing off my entire schedule. I tried to adjust, to salvage what I could of my plans, but it was like trying to hold water in my hands. The quaint bed and breakfast I had booked was overbooked, leaving me without a place to stay. The helpful concierge suggested some alternatives, but they weren't in my plan. They weren't vetted. They weren't safe. I found myself wandering the streets, lost and frustrated, my carefully crafted plans in shambles. As night fell, I realized I hadn't eaten all day. My scheduled dinner reservation was long past. I stumbled into a small local restaurant. It wasn't on any of my lists, but the aroma was inviting. The waiter didn't speak much English, and I didn't speak the local language. I ended up pointing randomly at the menu. What arrived was a dish I'd never seen before, with ingredients I couldn't identify, but it was delicious. As I savored each bite, I felt something shift inside me. A tension I'd been carrying for years began to loosen. Feeling oddly liberated, I decided to take a walk after dinner, with no particular destination in mind. And then, in the midst of my aimless wandering, I stumbled upon a local festival I hadn't known about. The colors, the music, the laughter. It was chaotic and beautiful. For the first time in my life, I let go of my plans and just lived in the moment. I danced with strangers, tried foods I couldn't pronounce, and laughed harder than I had in years. As the night wore on, I found myself on a hilltop with some new friends, watching the sunrise. In that moment, I realized that the best parts of life and travel can't be planned. They're the unexpected moments, the detours, the beautiful chaos that we stumble upon. I thought about all the experiences I might have missed if everything had gone according to plan. I realized that my obsession with planning wasn't about making the most of my travels. It was about control, about trying to shield myself from the unknown, from potential disappointment. But in doing so, I had been shielding myself from joy, from genuine connection, from real adventure. From that day on, I promised myself to leave room for spontaneity, for life to surprise me. I still plan, of course. Old habits die hard, but now I plan with a pencil, not a pen. I leave gaps in my itinerary, spaces for the unexpected to fill. I've learned to see delays and detours, not as disruptions, but as invitations to explore, to see strangers not as potential threats, but as potential friends, to see the unknown not as something to fear, but as something to embrace. My travels have become richer, more colorful, more alive, and so has my life back home. I've learned to apply this philosophy beyond just travel. So now when I set out on a new adventure, I pack light. I leave room in my suitcase for souvenirs and room in my schedule for serendipity, because sometimes the wrong train takes you to the right station. And sometimes the best destination isn't a place at all, but a new way of seeing the world.